Hare Krishna, good morning, my dear Prabhus, dear Mataji. Thank you for joining our morning meditation yoga philosophy class. Today is actually our 19th session. So, salamat, hindi pa rin ka nag-asawa. And of course, yung mga galing pa sa previous batch, I don't know, bakit di ka nag-asawa sa boses ko. Ako never kong pinapakinggan yung boses ko. Pag may in-edit lang. Awkward daw kasi palagi yung gano'n. Hare Krishna, Oliver Prabhu. Summer, Mataji. Hare Krishna. I think ready na yung kombucha ngayong araw, no? 3 days na yung nakalipas. Makoy Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Sigmund Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Good morning. Of course, others will follow in a few. But you know the drill. We should be in the right mood palagi. In the mood of humility. In the mood of request. In our approach sa ating study sa yoga philosophy and our meditation. So we should be in the right mood and join me as we recite the invocation mantras. There you go. Hare Krishna, Abhijan, Divai Prabhu. Om Agyana Timiranda Shajananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvya cha Patitanam pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivashade Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Everyone, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So ating nakaraan, we discussed about the 10th chapter. Very short but very intense because this is the sweetness of Krishna. After all the greatness of his opulence, we discuss kung gaano ka-sweet si Krishna and how he reciprocates with his devotees. Hindi lang siya just someone that you can meditate upon, but he reciprocates. Meron siyang personal relationship. Meron tayong personal relationship sa kanya. Ito yung ating acronym C, because the source of everything, all the material worlds, all the spiritual worlds is coming from Krishna himself. That is the relationship. Even us is coming from Krishna. And the essence of Bhagavad Gita, we have Tasambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. The relationship, the attaining process, and the result. And how to attain Krishna? By practicing Krishna consciousness, by being a devotee. To always think of him, have the delight, have the bliss in conversing regarding his glories, names, and pastimes. In that way, the thought of his pure devotees will always dwell inside Krishna. Lagi niya iniisip yung mga devotees niya. And even we are illiterate, but of course, we could not always rely on that na hindi na ako magbabasa, mag-aaral, saka mag-aatin ng class. Si Krishna could give me the understanding for which I could come to Him. That is His special mercy because this illiterate Brahmana, yung pinagkwentuhan natin from Sri Rangam, South India temple, he is in love, in great ecstasy and love kay Krishna. So for us to develop that, we should develop the faith by understanding, by our actions, and by our consciousness. So there's a progress. There's a process. So Krishna is everywhere as well. As you can see, si Krishna, sabi is, yung energies niya, siya gumawa nun. Siya rin yung energies niya. So we could see Krishna everywhere. So napakagandang section natin sa Bhagavad Gita today. The 3 Ps. Mind blown. And take a deep breath because we will enter the realm ng ating chapter 11. The essence of Bhagavad Gita, entitled Universal Form. Ang ating acronym is RUPA. This is the acronym of Universal Form. Or Form ni Krishna. Hindi pala, Universal Form is Virat Rupa. Ang acronym ng form is RUPA. So this is your human form. Bakit? Because si Krishna is not just the light. He is a person. He is actually the supreme person. He has a form. And the process of being a personalist, we want to know Krishna in a personal level. So we are understanding his form. Pero there are times na si Arjuna requested. So ito yung ating letter R. Take note, sa chapter 11, si Krishna was requested by Arjuna, hindi nag-demand. Tapos na yung chapter 9 and chapter 10, si Arjuna was already pleased, was already satisfied. And he knew that si Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kailangan niya mag-perform ng devotional service. Pero meron pa rin siya mga questions. Hindi pa rin nawawala yung mga questions na yun. So that questions will help hindi lang si Arjuna but all in future generations. Nag-request si Arjuna, Krishna, now I understand. I will follow, I will do whatever you instructed to me. Pero pwede ba ako mag-request? Pwede mo pakita sa akin yung universal form mo. Universal form ni Krishna. So, bakit? This is to establish Krishna's divinity for all. Siya yung Supreme Personality of Godhead. Makikita niya yung sa universal form, lahat galing kay Krishna. This is to convince others as well and to avoid imposters. Kasi even time ni Krishna, mas lalo na ngayon and lalo na sa future, lahat, ang dami, magpapanggap na incarnation ni Krishna, incarnation ni God. Punta ka lang sa Quiapo, I don't know ngayong COVID, pero punta ka lang sa Quiapo. Ang dami ng incarnation ni Jesus Christ. Pumunta ka sa India, ang dami incarnation ni Krishna. Even panahon ni Krishna, may mga ganun na imposters. Why? Because they wanted to be God. They don't want to become a servant. They want people to serve them. So in the future, people will understand na hindi theoretical lang na si Krishna pinag-usapan. He actually showed his universal form. Kasi no one could imitate this universal form ni Krishna. If someone is telling you na I am God, tell them na, okay, show me your universal form kung God ka talaga. There will be a lot of pseudo-gurus previously and even now that could produce some mystic powers. They could produce dust of gold or some ash, or they could levitate. They could perform some mysticism, and they will claim that they are God. Sometimes they will just speak eloquently, very influential. Pero pag pinakinggan mo talaga yung mga sinasabi nila, papaikot-ikutin, and sasabihin na, they are God. So, ang daming usong-uso na ganyan. Or they will make a community. And the rules is free sex for all. Or they will have no boundaries. You can intoxicate. Then, iikot uli yun. Siyempre, marami ma-attract doon kasi there will be like a liberation that there will be no rules and regulation. You could do whatever you want. Tapos, iikot yung community na yon that the realization na gusto nilang iparating is the leaders are also God. They are Mayavadis. Thinking that I am God. You are God, but I am God. I'm much more higher than you because I'm much more advanced. But you're also God. So marami nagkapanggap na ganito. Even just having very small na mga mysticism or other qualities. And people are so foolish. They will believe. They will believe na si God is that cheap. Pero, napag-usapan natin, God is opulent, all omnipotent. He's the supreme sa lahat, extreme sa pinakamaganda, pinakamatalino, pinakamayaman, pinakamalakas, pinakadetached. So, how could one just claim he is God pero sumasakit yung ngipin niya tapos kailangan niya mag-paracetamol or may phanabic acid? Or hindi naman siya maganda talaga. like magandang human, di ba? Or hindi siya sobrang yaman. Kasi if one is really God, one click kaya niyang gawin lahat yun. You cannot limit. So this request ni Arjuna for the universal form to establish para mawala yung mga nagkapanggap. So if one encountered an imposter, pwede mo sabihin, show me your universal form. Pwede niya lang sabihin sa'yo, you don't have the eye. Then give me the eye to see. Just like Arjuna. So this description in the chapter 11, there was a description sa universal form ni Krishna. Remember, nasa gitna pa rin sila ng battlefield. And si Sanjay sa si Dhritarashtra, nakikita pa rin yung nangyayari sa battlefield. Habang nag-uusap si Krishna sa si Arjuna. Tapos, there was a description. There was descriptions sa universal form ni Krishna. 3 yon. So, nakikita nyo itong illustration na to. Ginamit niya na to. Jimi Hendrix sa album niya. Pero binan yun. Kasi he's thinking that he is God. Nilagay niya yung sarili niya sa gitna. This is the universal form. Nakita nyo? Krishna is showing it to Arjuna. First description of the universal form galing kay Krishna. Krishna's description of his own universal form. Sabi niya, see my opulence, hundreds and thousands of varied, divine, and multicolored forms. So our sight is always limited. We can only see range of colors and lights. Pero si Krishna, pinakita niya lahat, varied, divine, multicolored forms. Hindi mo madi-describe to basta-basta. Just like, again, the analogy of describing the kaleidoscope to a since birth blind person. Pinakita niya kay Krishna yun, kay Arjuna yun. The ultimate trip. Hundreds and thousands of varied divine forms. Wonderful forms. Andun yung mga iba't ibang klaseng entities. Aswini Kumaras, Rudras, Vashus, Adityas. Rudras is yung king of Rudra. Leader ng Rudra is si Shiva. Lahat yun nanggaling din kay Krishna. Pinakita niya. No one has ever seen or heard of this before. Even si Arjuna na friend niya, ngayon lang niya pinakita. You could see the entire universe, all moving and non-moving, in one sitting place. Sa buong creation, in-encapsulate ni Krishna. Tapos pinakita niya kay Arjuna while sitting on that chariot. You could see also the past, present, and future. So nakikita ni Arjuna anong mangyayari habang nag-war. Then pagkatapos ng war. But you cannot see this. Not everyone could see this. Kasi wala silang spiritual eye. They were just illusioned by the material eye. So Krishna is giving that spiritual eye kay Arjuna. In all directions, past, present, and future, all the forms, all the creations, in-encapsulate ni Krishna. Pinakita niya in one sitting place. And there was also another description. This is again Sanjaya. Kung natandaan niyo sa chapter 1, Na-explain ni Sanjay dun sa bulag na Dhritarashtra, na si Dhritarashtra. So he's describing Krishna's form in unlimited divine, wondrous, and brilliant forms. There are unlimited mouths, eyes, ornaments, weapons, garlands. It is inconceivable. Ang hirap, hindi pwede basta-basta maintindihan. But Arjuna could see the unlimited in just sitting in that one place. And yung form ni Krishna more radiant than hundreds and thousands of suns. Isipin mo, umaga, di ba maliwanag na? Multiply mo pa yan by thousands. So, sobrang liwanag. Seeing everything in one place. And nakita niya, di ba, in a friendly disciple relationship, pero na-bewildered na si Arjuna because of that own reverence na si Krishna yung Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nare-remind siya doon. So this proves na si Krishna yung reservoir of all relationship. Kung natandaan niyo, may 5 relationship kay Krishna. As a passive state, as a servant, own reverence, as a yung friend, parent, saka lover. So lahat yon pwedeng ka magkaroon ng relationship kay Krishna. Actually, we have our own relationship with Krishna. That's what we want to awaken. So si Arjuna felt the own reverence relationship kay Krishna. So naka-bow down siya, naka-pranam siya, So yan. So nakita ni Sanjay to and he's explaining it to Dhritarashtra. Thousands of ornaments, garlands, weapons, everywhere, lahat ng lingon niya. Such a trip, di ba? Then, of course, Arjuna, pangatlong description sa universal form ni Krishna. He sees all the demigods, living and living entities assembled in that form. Lahat ng creation, sa creation, even the demigods are there. Even sa Lord Brahma, sa Lord Shiva, other sages, other saintly persons, lahat nandun. So Krishna is so unlimited. He sees many, many arms, bellies, mouths, eyes, without any limit, with no end. Middle, beginning. So also nakita niya na si Arjuna is trying to or attempting to describe the immeasurable, which is sobrang hirap kasi immeasurable nga. And he is giving that statement, you are the Supreme Lord. You are the supreme primeval object. You are the resting place of the whole universe, inexhaustible, the oldest, and the maintainer of eternal religion. So ito yung sinasabi nakikita ni Arjuna. Whole universe. And actually, marami pa nakikita si Arjuna. May nakikita siyang blazing fire coming forth. Ito yun. Mga ganyan. Lumalabas sa mouth ng isang form ni Krishna. And since nakikita niya yung future, nakikita niya lahat ng soldiers dun sa battlefield, nag-march, entering the mouths of Krishna. Being crushed, burned. And yung iba nagiging na-stuck dun sa in-between ng teeth. Nagiging parang tinga. Yung mga heads ng mga great soldiers. Nakikita niya yung future. And nakikita niya yung ibang demigods sa mga sages are praying and bowing down kay Krishna. But also, he is very fearful, si Arjuna, because of the sight he's witnessing. Sobrang naging fearful siya. And sobrang daming form ni Krishna. Sabi nga, there's an analogy ng waves of the rivers going to the ocean. And yung mga tao na pumupunta, yung analogy dun sa mga tao na pumupunta sa burning mouth, it's like waves ng yung water sa rivers going to the ocean, or the moths na nag-dive, nag-suicide dive dun sa fire. He is the all-devouring. So nakita niya yung future ng war. Except sa kanila magkakapatid, the rest will die. So alam niya na mananalo sila sa war. Then because of this, Krishna is showing the universal form kay Arjuna. Si Arjuna nagtanong siya ng question. In great fear, he asked 2 questions. Who are you and what is your mission? Sabi ni Krishna, Kala Rupa, time I am, the destroyer of everything. So, si Krishna is also time. And no one could escape time. Time will destroy everything, kahit anong alaga mo doon. Temporary, yung mga bagay sa paligid, even relationships. After we pass away, the material relationship will change. You'll have another set of parents, or baka magpapalit-palit kayo ng role. But time is there, and si Krishna is the time. And because of this scenario, Arjuna is in fear. Nag-request siya. Sabi niya, nag-pray muna siya. You're the worshipable by everyone. You're the essence of everything. Kasi these are temporary. And the essence is to connect with you. That's the spiritual connection. Actually, he begs for forgiveness. Kasi he is realizing Krishna is the Supreme. And before, I was in a relationship with you like an equal friend. Of course, gusto ni Krishna yon. Pero dahil nga may own reverence, he felt guilty, si Arjuna. Yan, he falls to the ground and beg for mercy. And nag-request siya. Di ba nag-request siya ipakita yung universal form. Sabi ni Arjuna, pwede bang tanggalin mo na to? I'm so bewildered. I'm in fear. Pwede bang i-withdraw mo na yung fearsome form mo? I want to see your 4-handed form. Yung 4 na kamay ni si Krishna. Bakit? That is also Lord Vishnu. Coming from Krishna, then Lord Vishnu. So, ang ginawa ni Krishna, tinanggal na niya lahat, universal form. Nag-remain siya ng 4-handed form ni Krishna. 4, 4 as Lord Vishnu. Then, from that 4-hand form, winodraw niya rin and binalik niya sa 2-hand form ni Krishna. Having the flute. This is the original form ni Krishna. And this is the most intimate. Kasi wala siyang hawak na weapon. Just unlike the 4-handed form or the other forms ni Krishna. Wala siyang hawak na mga club, chakras. The only purpose of Krishna having this flute is to relish his relationship sa devotees. He's playing the spiritual note to please his devotees. Only pure devotees could realize, see Krishna's 2-arm form. Because that's the personal relationship. It's a very beautiful form of Krishna with the flute. That's why you will see si Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. All other demigods will have different weapons, paraphernalias na mga hawak nila. They have even almost all have chanting beads, diba? Sila Shiva, sila Brahma, sila Ganesh. They're chanting Krishna's name. But Krishna is holding a flute, playing flute for everyone, all the creatures, all the souls, pleasing them, connecting to them. And only the devotees could connect to Krishna in this form, personal. Inhale. What a trip. Let's go back to earth. Si Arjuna nag-request, that is letter R. Remember the mood of request and humility. For what? To establish Krishna's divinity, to rebuke yung mga imposters, to set the standard, to give the standard na pag may nagpanggap na Krishna incarnation, kailangan may universal form siya. And si Krishna, pinakita niya universal form niya in 3 descriptions. Dinescribe ni Krishna mismo, dinescribe ni Sanjay, and dinescribe ni Arjuna. And si Arjuna prayed, "Who are you? What is your mission?" Sabi ni Krishna, "I'm time, the destroyer of everything." And si Arjuna requested to see the four-armed form, which is pinakita ni Krishna. And afterwards, pinakita niya yung two-armed form, which is the very dear para sa mga devotees. That is Rupa. Inhale. We are now entering in our chapter 12, Devotional Service. And our acronym for today is God, G-O-D. Krishna explained and establishing who is the real fountainhead or Godhead. Saan galing yung mga ibang forms, which is nakita natin dun sa universal form. Galing kay Krishna. In all scriptures, you will see Krishna is the supreme. You will see the life, if you really study the life of the demigods, they're trying to please Krishna. There are different transcendentalists. We've been studying this since day one. There are those who are personalists and impersonalists. Personalists, they engage themselves with all the energy to serve Krishna. So they don't escape. Just like Arjuna, he will use his weapons to serve Krishna. Us, our weapon will be in different forms. If you're a yoga teacher, that's your weapon. To serve Krishna, to introduce Krishna to others, to wake up their souls. It could be music, that would be your weapon, the instruments. It could be in speaking, or the internet, or the books, of course. That's the greatest weapon. And there are those who are impersonalists. They just engage in meditation. They just want to see the light, impersonal Brahman, and which are unmanifested. Again, that light is the effulgence lang ni Krishna, the aura lang niya. But you cannot enter. They could not really know Krishna. Because that's their meditation. Nothingness. Just go into the light. Voidism. So that's the big difference. Now, bakit natin kinikilala si Krishna layer by layer? Because we are practicing personalist practice. Personalism. There is also a difference between Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Jnana is the knowledge. Jnana Yoga is dovetailing that knowledge, which is studying of the Vedas. The same goal is to bring one closer to Krishna. But the Jnana Yoga is very troublesome daw, sabi ni Krishna. Because it's very difficult simply knowing Krishna theoretical. Just puro study lang. Walang action, walang realizations. In comparison to Bhakti Yoga, which is very direct, aside from learning, one is serving directly si Krishna. Together with the other devotees, one is experiencing Krishna's greatness and sweetness. Because he's connecting through devotional service or Bhakti Yoga. One thing that they do, they accept Krishna's deity form as worshipable. They put in the altar or their sacred space. Yung deity form ni Krishna could be made by stone, wood, metals, or even painting, pictures. That is the deity form. And there is a big difference between deities and idol worship. The idol worship is invented, speculated, whimsical. Inimbento lang ng tao. Idol worship. In comparison to deity worship, the deities, kung ano itsura ng personality na nandun, which is of course Krishna, is described by Krishna himself. How to worship that deity is described by Krishna himself also. It is authorized. The perfect analogy for this is yung mga mailboxes. If you want to send a letter, kailangan may stamp ka for that letter. And kailangan mo ihulog sa mailbox kung saan kukunin ng mga authorized na mga mailman para i-deliver. You could Create your own mailbox. Pagandahin mo ng todo. Gamitan mo ng magagandang materials. Gawin mo artistic. And pwede mo ilagay doon yung sulat mo. But if it is not authorized by the post office, hindi kukunin yung sulat mo doon. Nandun lang yun. That is idol worship. You can invent anything. Worship someone. Diba? May sa India nga nakita ko may wino-worship si Trump. You can worship the element, the stone, and all. And other demigods, ayaw na lang wino-worship sila because they are devotees of Krishna. Lalo na yung mga ibang personalities. Those are idol worships. In comparison to deity worship, this is like the mailbox that is authorized. Anong itsura nun, anong standard doon, kung saan nakalagay, anong dapat ng process. That is deity worship. Krishna expressed in his scriptures and he's coming from the pure devotees, yung mga saintly person, how to worship him in his deity forms. Kaya may mga temples. Naging picture ni Summer, diba? Si Radha and Krishna. So, ano itsura nila? Small details, pati ano itsura ng hikaw nila, anong itsura ng garland nila, anong kulay ng skin, anong kulay ng dori. Lahat yon describe ni Krishna. Very detailed, personal. How to worship them, anong oras, how to offer, same. Kwento ni Krishna paano. Because it is authorized. Bakit kailangan ng deity form? Because our senses is so imperfect. We cannot see Krishna. But it will help us direct our love and devotion kay Krishna by serving the deity form. Because the deities and Krishna is non-different. Kasi nga, authorized ni Krishna yun. Ito yung itsura niya, ito yung dapat gawin. So when you worship the deities, you're worshiping directly Krishna. They're identical. But there are processes kung paano. You cannot offer him meat. Kasi sabi niya, hindi niya gusto. Patrampos pampalam toyam. If one offers me with love and devotion, a leaf, flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. Hindi niya sabing meat, fish, or eggs. So, sinabi niya kung ano. And you cannot invent something when you love a person and invent something na ikaka-please niya. So, alam mo, mahilig siya sa books. Hindi siya mahilig sa sapatos. Ikaw yung mahilig sa sapatos. Kasi regalo sa sapatos sa kanya. You're just pleasing yourself kasi yun yung gusto mo. Hindi yun yung gusto niya. Ayun yung love. Kung ano yung gusto niya, that's how you will serve that love to that person. So si Krishna may spoon feeding. Sinabi niya anong gusto niya, anong ayaw niya. Some will offer kung ano-ano kasi gusto niya yon. That's selfish. Kasi gusto niya enjoyin yon instead of that. Hindi naman gamer yung asawa mo, regalo ka ng PS5. For what? Ikaw lang nagagamit niyan pero regalo ko sa'yo to. Gets, diba? So that's the analogy. You love a person according to their desire kung paano sila ma-please. So, how to know that? Then ask that person. Diba? Hindi ka manghuhula. Anong ikaka-please mo? So, si Krishna sinabi niya yan. Same thing with the deity worship. For us to direct our love kay Krishna, there should be a form. For us to give, binibihisa natin sila. We offer flowers, we're offering incense, we cook and offer to the altar. And having that sacred space, may direction yung meditation and yung sacred space natin. Hindi nothingness. That is in the pictures of Krishna or form ni Krishna. There are guidelines how to set up an altar or the sacred space natin. Kaya may mga temples na ganun naka-base. So it is just like making your home your own little temple. If you have this sacred space or little altar, small altars. So that is deity form ni Krishna versus idol worship. And that is also advised by Krishna himself. Even si Krishna, when he incarnated, just like Lord Chaitanya, nag-worship din sila sa temple. Like, so of course, si Lord Jagannath, si Krishna himself, in-worship ni Lord Chaitanya. So, Bhakti Yoga is direct, just like the deity worship, serving Krishna directly. So, yes, there are charts, comparison ng impersonalist, personalist. I will forward this to you. Yan. Impersonalists, they worship, they meditate on the formless. Of course, those who are personalists, they worship the form of Krishna in deity form. Yung mga impersonalists, they restrict their senses. They don't eat palatable food. Ayoko kumain na ito kasi this is using the senses. I've met some. Pero in-offera namin ng barbecue dun sa restaurant, kinain niya na madami. Nag-exercise pa siya. Because we should use our senses. Lalo-lalo na syempre kung prasadam. The Bhakti Yoga is not stopping the senses because kakawala yan if artificially mo ginawa. So you have to dovetail it. Like si Arjuna, dovetailing his urge to fight, to protect. Even the food, even the music, the ear, yung sense of hearing natin, the sight, even the sex or intercourse, you should dovetail it to Krishna consciousness. Not to enjoy, just enjoy and enjoy, but to produce Krishna conscious child. So the impersonalist practice is troublesome because there's no relationship. Nothingness. Diba? Mga takot sa commitment. Yung mga tao ngayon takot sa commitment. Pinakatakot sa lahat kasi lang na mga they just want to enjoy but they don't want to commit to the responsibility. So of course, Godhead, devotional service is simple and easy because Krishna is personally delivering His devotees. You're connecting kay Krishna and si Krishna pinapadali yung buhay natin. That is devotional service. The highest perfection of life is connecting to Krishna. Yes. Actually, the process is simple, sabi ni Krishna. Just devote your occupation and chant Hare Krishna. Whatever your responsibilities now, dovetail it to Krishna, then chant. Krishna will be attracted. Kasi kahit na you are doing a lot of business and works, you're thinking of Krishna. You're so in love. Hindi mo lang love si Krishna pag hawak mo yung japa malam or yung beads mo. 24 hours a day. Kaya Krishna consciousness. You're always conscious of Krishna. There are different options depende sa stages natin. Different progress natin in our consciousness. Some could be full-time, living in a temple. Some could still have, could work, could serve Krishna. Some, hindi nila magawa yun. You could follow the four regular principles or in the sadhana bhakti. That's a big help in our progress. Some, they could not. They just work for Krishna. They could just do other small services. Oy, Prabhu, tulong ako sa ganito, tulong ako sa ganyan. It's one of the best kasi you're dovetailing. Prabhu, may onting alam ako sa ganito, pwede ba ako makatulong? And some, hindi talaga. They have much more in a different stage. They could just donate. Help in that way. Prabhu, may ganitong resources ako. I have a farm. I want to donate something. Pwede magamit sa temple or sa Food for Life. Or I have some extra from business. Krishna is giving me so much. Can I help you to spread this consciousness or this Food for Life? Spreading of sanctified food. So that's donating or giving a portion of your hard-earned labor and time in the form of money or resources. So in different stages, you could connect to Krishna. It doesn't mean na kailangan mo mag-shave. Diba? Kailangan kita kalbuhin. Rado charan, bro. Ready na ako magpakalbo. Hindi ganon. Hindi ganon yung ibig sabihin ng Krishna consciousness. In different stages of life. Different readiness, different stages natin. Kanya-kanya tayong process. Lahat tayo in personal relationship kay Krishna. Some will be in dito katulad sa school. Some will be grade 1, some will be high school, some will be college. Pero lahat same path. Lahat sabay-sabay. Lahat naghahatakan. Encouragement. Hindi ka iiwan kasi ito lang yung stage mo, no? So, dire-diretso yan. Kasi yung iba sa atin nagsimula mas maaga or nagsimula previous lives na. Kaya may makikita ka bagong join lang sa classes pero dire-diretso yung progress niya. Kinukontinue lang nila yung last lives nila in that process of yoga. This Bhakti yoga. So, there are different options. So, don't be discouraged na sobrang basic lang yung alam ko, sobrang basic lang yung napapractice ko. Don't be discouraged. Continue. This is a no judgment zone. The community is no judgment zone. It's always encouraging. If there will be criticism, we don't tolerate that. Because that is in the negative vibration. That is in the vibration of Maya. We're in the encouraging mood. Lahat tayo dumadaan dito, or one way or the other, we have been there. Baby steps. And ang sarap to practice if you have your spiritual squad around you. You might not seen each other personally pa, pero iba yung connection, di ba? If you know you have that squad. And it's much more easier to practice. Mas stronger tayo against Maya or illusion. One stick, it's easily broken. Pero if you have a bundle of sticks, hindi mo siya basta-basta ma-break. That is the power of association. Letter D, Devotees Disposition. This is if you want to, like, qualities of devotees towards himself, towards others, and towards Krishna. So yung attitude ng devotee towards oneself is practicing nirmama, free from sense of proprietorship. Gato yung inisip ng tao palagi, akin to, akin yan, I, me, mine. He is free from false ego because he knows he's not the body, he's the spirit soul. Ego is knowing who you are. Having the false ego is thinking that I, me, mine. Of course, sa psychology natin, ginagamit lang ego, super ego or id. I forgot si Freud yata yun. So, yung endeavors niya palagi is endeavoring, hindi siya free na, wala lang siyang gagawin. He's endeavoring for spiritual life. Even his work is endeavoring. That's why the consciousness is there. In dealing with other living entities, he's not envious. He celebrates other success. He is in encouraging mood. He wants everyone to win. Ano yung papalanunan mo? Krishna. Actually, he's equal to friends and enemies. Ang dali sabihin na ito, di ba? Equal to friends and enemies. Actually, devotees don't have enemies. They don't consider having any enemy. Udasina, without cares. This regarding the material attachments. Was free from contaminating association. Ano yung mga contaminating association? Bad influences. He's free from that. May hindi ka may iwasan, ka-work mo, ka-trabaho mo. Just make sure you're giving the association, not taking their association. If you could give Krishna, much better. But don't take their association na madamay ka, maladala ka ng agos, ng that energy or ni Maya. So no. Sino ito mga to? Those who are really addicted to women. Yung tumatakbo yung utak nila umaga pa lang, naghahanta sila ng women. So, ang dami na ito. You just go to the bar. Nakita mo, dito sa bar, tapos lumipat siya. Habang nakikita mo siya sa iba't ibang bar, ibig sabihin, nag-bar hopping ka rin. So, same thing. Anong ginagawa nila? Every night, hunting different women. Spending all that time and energy para lang doon. Trophy na lang yun. And also, he's silent. Not that he is in a mauna vrat or vow of being silent. He is silent with nonsense things. Sabi nga, if you're not gonna say anything beneficial, better not say anything. Of course, if your work is to talk, then go. Pero just be careful to control the urge to speak. You know how to use your speaking. Much more than chant. Read. Diba? Just converse with this like-minded person. So reaction when things happen to him. Positive or negative, he's always satisfied. He is self-controlled. That's why he's the completely perfect mystic. Kahit hindi niya pinapakita yung mga powers niya, which is no need. He's tolerant. The game of tolerance, yung teacher natin doon is our enemy. The one who will trigger, will provoke you. That is the game of tolerance. You have to tolerate. He's equipoised in happiness and distress because these are temporary. The material happiness and material distress. Neutral. Hindi siya kumakampi basta-basta kung sino-sino. So Chi is pure and expert. Daksha, expert. A devotee daw is knows something about everything. And he knows everything about something. That is expertise. So he learns how to cook, how to clean, because he's using that to serve Krishna. But meron siyang madalas expertise. Like, ang dami niya alam, pero mas expert siya sa music. So he used that to please Krishna. So you don't have to be idle kapag nag-practice ka ng Krishna consciousness or ng yoga. Na wala ka ng silbi sa mundo. Neither rejoice or grieves, nor grieves over material gain or loss. Pati sa desires. And transcendentally, finiface niya, hinaharap niya yung mga auspicious or inauspicious sa mga paligid. Equipoise siya sa dualities, that's happiness and distress. And do not care for any residence. Yung mga tao attached kung saan sila pinanganak. Pinapatato pa nga nila yung zip code nila, di ba? Dito na ako pinanganak, dito ako mamamatay. The wrong use of nationalism as well. Nag-aaway-aaway sila kasi pinanganak yung isang tao dun sa lugar na yon. Iba yung salita niya, saka dito, or iba yung street. Animalistic life. Territorial. After this life, doon ka ipapanganak kung sino yung sa kagalit na galit. Of course, dealings with the Lord, He's very determined in that progress and process of Krishna consciousness to connect to Krishna. His mind and intelligence is fixed towards Krishna. He is engaged in devotional service. So that is Devotees Disposition, ang position ng devotee. And these qualities endear one to Krishna. Very dear kay Krishna to. Kumbaga, ano yung plus pogi points mo if may nililigawan ka? Very spoon feeding. Si Krishna ganun din. What do you need to do para maging sobrang dear ka kay Krishna? These are the characteristics. The personalities is you na nakikita ng mga tao. The characteristics, if wala na nakatingin, sino ka? So the dearest of all is one who makes Krishna as the goal of his life. That is the most dearest kay Krishna. We might have a lot of responsibilities, titles, skill sets, talents. But if you dovetail it to Krishna, make it your goal of life, then that will be your key to be much more dear kay Krishna. That is G-O-D, God. Because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the fountainhead of everyone, even including the demigods and other entities, living and non-living entities, sa kanya rin galing. There are those who are also impersonalists, personalists. Those who are personalists are connecting to Krishna personally. We have different options in different stages of our spiritual life. It is always move towards papunta kay Krishna, towards Krishna, in different stages. But you could always hold on sa ibang mga tao in different stages to pull them closer kay Krishna. Of course, gently. If they need 1 + 1 question and knowledge, give them 1 + 1. You don't have to talk about the scientific calculator computation. Sa spirituality, ganun din. If you're like a yoga teacher, they just first need to remove their anxiety, then give it. Don't be absolute then teaching them na yung mga deep philosophy. That is an expert. Knowing kung sino yung kausap nila, who's the audience, and how one could connect the expertise, how one could use Krishna connecting to them. And Devotees Disposition, the most very endearing kay Krishna is one who makes his life having through devotion service, the goal is si Krishna. Of course. Galing magiging close kay Krishna, yun yung magiging dear sa kanya. So thank you very much. We discussed 11th and 12th chapters today. So you can exhale. Kasi may assignment tayo. Make an art in reference to the universal form ni Krishna. You can use the reference. You can type sa Google, universal form of Krishna. You can see yung mga universal form ni Krishna. Make an art in whatever medium do you like. Diba? It will be visual arts if you want. Yung first batch, may kumanta pa nga eh. Tapos may, madami of course, visual arts. If you could cook, wala pang gumagawa. No? If you could cook representing the universal form ni Krishna, why? Why not? Pero syempre, patikin mo sa akin kung prasadam yan. Or send mo sa akin yung photo or video. Some poetry also, you could do that. So make an art in the reference to the universal form of Krishna. So yan So baka sabihin nyo, hindi lang left brain yung kinikater ng Krishna consciousness ng class natin. Pati right brainer. Yes, kung nakagawa na dati, gawa ko ulit. Perfect meditation. So please open your cameras. Let's have a group photo. We're ending malapit na tayo mag-end sa 3rd week natin. Malapit na yung 4th week, last week natin. But of course, there are a lot of classes in the afternoon, evening, and succeeding mga classes natin, level 1, level 2. So, hindi kayo mawawalan ng matututunan. Mag-asawa pa nga kayo. I don't know kung mag-asawa kayo. Sila Oliver kasi simulang umaga pa lang dito na siya. Hanggang gabi. Hare Krishna, sila Abby, sila Karen. Picture tayo, everyone. Ayun, may picture si Makoy. Summer! Show us your universal form. Nakatago ka dyan. Sige, count of 3, everyone. 1, 2, 3. One more, 1, 2, 3. Again, my dear Prabhus, dear Matajis, maraming salamat. I'm most humbled and honored being with your presence. Kita tayo ulit bukas for another session. Ano ba bukas? Friday. Yeah, I think bukas pupunta ako Manila. Thank you very much, Abby. Hare Krishna Karen. Hare Krishna Karen Mataji. Carla, Sigmund, Summer, McCoy, Oliver Prabhu, and si Levi. Yan, nag-disconnect yata sila. Maraming salamat. And if you wish to stay connected, if you want to have also a Zoom call meetings, catch up, or some questions, just let me know. Nakaschedule yan every hapon. So we could have, minsan may mga personal questions. We could cater to them. And just bond. Parang podcast nga yun. Maraming salamat. I'll see you. And please, you know the drill. Chant your rounds today. Salamat. Hare Krishna. Yes. Yan, sila Karen, Oliver, Sigmund, Levi, Carlo, saka si Summer McCoy. Hare Krishna.